So this is a page in my large Dilutions art journal that I pre-prepared a while ago. I did half a dozen or so pages where I just grabbed remnants and old pieces of paper and just stuck them down just to have something ready in the background to work with, so I wasn't faced with a blank page. This is the last of them. I've used up all of the pages that I pre-prepared a while ago, and I just thought, because of the mood that I'm kind of in today, which is very kind of introspective and a little bit, I'm in a bit of a sad mood today for personal reasons, which I won't go into right this very second, but I'm just going to grab some paint and I'm going to bung some colours down over the top, and you'll see kind of the kind of page that I need to create and get out of my system today. So first of all, I'm just going to grab some white gesso and just go over the top of this whole page. Those of you that follow my vlogs will know that just before Christmas Mum was taken ill, and that I was travelling backwards and forwards and we weren't really sure what was going to happen. Well, we managed to get her over just before Christmas, actually on Christmas Eve, but unfortunately she did take a turn for the worst. She managed to get Christmas Day in here and most of Boxing Day, the 26th of December, but unfortunately in the evening of the 26th of December we had to take her into hospital. So she's still there now, and today obviously is Saturday. Is it 28th or 29th today? See, I'm completely at sixes and sevens, I don't even know what date it is. So she's still in the hospital now, recovering, which is why I'm not particularly firing on all cylinders today, but I'm in that kind of melancholic, remembering kind of mood. So that's what I need to get out of my system today, so I'm using this as an opportunity to do just that. So page is now completely covered in gesso. I'm just going to give it a quick blast and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, so the gesso is kind of dry, and I'm going to start layering down some colour now. So I'm going to start off with some dark green. Well, I say dark green. This is actually called light green, but it's darker than any of the other greens that I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to splodge some of this down, and then I'm going to grab a baby wipe. I'm also going to just spritz a little bit of water, and then I'm going to manoeuvre all this paint around the page and get very, very dirty probably in the process. There we go. So manoeuvre all of the paint in, cover the entire of the page. Nice kind of base coat down there, and then I'm just going to pounce around the page just to add a little bit of texture into the background, and then just kind of rub a little here and there just to kind of build up a nice kind of motley kind of background. And of course my fingers are going to be completely filthy, so I'm going to just get those cleaned off a little bit. I need to get this dry, and then I'll be right back once I've got that done. Okay, I've managed to get the majority of the paint off my fingers. The page isn't 100% dry because I'm also now going to bring in another colour. So I've got pale olive, which is a lighter green than the one that we're using. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that into the background too. And again, I'm just going to use a baby wipe and just rub into the background. I just want a kind of mottled, tonal kind of background. we go. So that's that lighter green over the top. Just like so. I'm just going to keep on going until I think I've built up enough, and I think that's probably about it. Okay, so again, I need to get that dry. So we'll do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now those two colours are almost dry, I'm going to bring in a lime yellow, so a little bit of a lighter colour. This time just across there, and I'm just going to add that about halfway up and all the way across, just to kind of create a little bit of a kind of boundary line across the middle. But it's all kind of tonal anyway, it's all nicely greeny colours, and this lime yellow obviously is also a little bit greeny too. So down here towards the bottom I've also got some burnt umber, so I'm just going to add a little bit of brown down there, and I'm going to work that in using the same tissue and just rub gently and just kind of blend that in, just to kind of create a ground and a transitional tone right down there towards the bottom. There. It does look a little bit dark on screen probably, it's actually a little bit lighter in real life. And I'll just rub a little bit just to... That's it. That's fine. It's actually dried on its own while I've been rubbing it. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute or two and then I'll be right back. Okay, so the page is pretty much dry. I've just put a little bit of a mixing mat, a little palette just here to one side so I can pick up some other colours. So I've just brought in some titanium white. This is obviously all Reeves that I'm using today. Just trying to use up some of my stock. So I've also got a piece of painter's sponge, just a bit of an artist sponge. So I've just loaded that up, and I'm also going to be using my roundels stencil, which I'm just going to drop down and just add a little bit of that towards the top. I'm just going to add that quite gently, not pouncing really hard, just to add a little bit of tone into the background. I haven't used a stencil in an art journal page for a bit, I don't think, for quite some time. And this one's just kind of the right sort of page to use this one on. I'll just bring that white, just very light and gentle, not heavy. There we go, just to add a little bit of, flip it round, maybe add a little bit more. Just kind of subtle. Add a little bit more to my craft mat. Not going to go too mad. Just light and bright. Not going heavy, not pouncing really hard, just a little bit of light. Just a little bit more down here. towards the outside of the page, maybe a little bit just over here. Just where I think it's needed, really. And it is kind of subtle, not in your face. Okay, let's get that dried. Okay, so those white kind of floaty bits in the background are pretty much done. So I'm going to bring back in that burnt umber. I'm just going to add a little bit of that onto my craft mat again. And this time I've got an old banker's card, an old ATM card, and I'm just going to pick up some of that paint just on the edge of the banker's card, and I'm just going to run like so. So just do a couple of lines down towards the bottom. And if you haven't got a banker's card, you can use anything you like to create a card. I've got also one of these catalyst pebbles that I could also use for kind of doing lines. I think that'll do, so I can get that just quickly wiped off and put back away again, and then I can have a quick clean up so I'm not getting my elbow in any of it, and then we're ready to continue. So I'll let me get that dry and then I'll be right back. Okay, so those brown marks there have now dried, so I'm just going to put out some more white paint, this time a little bit more, and I'm going to be using that same white sponge that I used before because I want a kind of diffused paint effect on this next bit. And I've already punched out, using a 2.5 inch circle punch, some large circles from this card because I want to just create a big kind of circular stencil. If you can see what I'm trying to do, so some large circles on top of those smaller ones, and then lighter as we go outwards. So I'm kind of creating like a dandelion clock effect, which is kind of what I was hoping to achieve with this. And then I can just add on a couple more. So darker in the centre and then lighter around the outside. And obviously if they cross over, they cross over. A bit more paint. So if you're not very good at drawing circles and you have punches or dies that you can create circles with, then it's a great way to create some very, very inexpensive stencils. Just like that. So a little bit more white. And then just lightly go around. And then we can create as many kind of clocks, dandelion kind of effects that we want to. Making sure that they're darker in the middle and then get lighter as we go around the outside, like so. And then, just for variety, I'm going to put one down here at the bottom as well. Just like that. And I think for that part of the art journal page, I'm happy with. So again, I'll need to get this all dried off. And once that's done, I'll be right back. Okay, so those white dandelions at the top are kind of dry, but I want to add in a little bit more green down here towards the bottom, so I think it's looking a bit dark and dingy, a bit depressing. So I'm just going to use some more of that light green paint that we used to start off with, that we've got up here at the top. And again, I'm just going to bring in my old ATM card, and I'm going to add in some green tones just over the top. Like that. Just because I think it's a little bit too dark. Just adds a little bit of extra tone, a little bit of extra dimension. Doesn't kind of make it look quite so depressing. Almost gives you the idea of foliage as well, in a kind of abstracty kind of way, which is fine, because these aren't supposed to be realistic representations of dandelion clocks anyway. That's much better. There we go. Okay, I'm happier with that green in there. I still think it looks a little bit dark there. Maybe a little bit just there. Better. I think that burnt umber may have been a little bit too dark, but that's fine. You lives and learns. Okay, I think I'm happy with that now. So I can move that out of the way and then bring that heat gun back in. Let's get these green bits all dried off, and then I'll come back and get it all finished off. Okay, so that's pretty much dry. I've printed off a kind of phrase and a quote that I want to use on the art journal page onto some white cardstock, and then cut it out into obviously little sentences. But I want to add a few little splatters. I know I add splatters and use them a lot, but it's just one of those things about art journaling. that just works. So I'm just going to bring that back, add a little bit more white paint there. I've got my little water spritzer bottle, or I did have. Where's it gone? It's probably staring me in the face and I can't see it. There you go. Right in front of me and I couldn't even see it. And I've got my fan brush. So I'm just going to mix that paint up with a little water and then just add just a little bit of that kind of spritz miasma, if you like. Down towards there. That's it, I'm not doing any more. So get rid of that polyprop sheet. That's about as far as I'm going with the splatters. So I'm going to get that dry and then I can stick my quote down. Okay, so that is, the splatters are pretty dry now. I've still got a little bit of paint on my hands from when I used it as a guard. But what I want to do is I want to place my phrases so they actually come across the page and end up over there. And that's the first line, so I'm going to bring that one there. That one there. And that one there. And that can go, that one there. That can go there. Maybe if I go across there a bit. So I've not really worked out where each ones of these are going to go. And then step that one down like that. And maybe do the same thing. I'll actually maybe put it there. Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to go for this one. So I've got my glue, which is the Tombow Mono liquid glue, the Aqua. Hello Mr. Bentley. He's just woke up, decided he's going to go downstairs. He might need a wee wee. So I know this art journal page today isn't all sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. Not all art journal pages are and can be, because they reflect our mood and our emotions. So sometimes we are going to get art journal pages that reflect that. And art journaling is all about expressing how you feel. So of course, sometimes you're going to get to the stage where you're not feeling your best, or you're a little sad, or you're missing someone, particularly around this time of year. So it's great to use art journaling as that kind of cathartic exercise to be able to express how you feel. If you can't express it in the normal way, I know some people have great difficulty expressing how they're feeling or expressing their emotions, or may just not have anyone in their lives that they can express those sentiments to. So art journaling for those kind of people is just perfect. It's a way of being able to express yourself, getting it out of your system, getting it out there, down on a page, which is as good as sometimes as talking to a good friend, or even sitting in confession. Haha. Confess your inner thoughts and feelings in an art journal page. There's a good one. Good. He says throwing the glue everywhere. There we go. I'm happy with that. It's helped me this morning just come to terms, you know, having a parent that's very, very ill. You know, it's not a very nice thing to have to face or talk about, but it will happen. It is going to happen. It is, you know, can be just on the horizon, or it could be years away, but you never know. So I'm going to sign off for today. So it's the 29th, there you go, I've just seen. So I'm going to sign the bottom. There we go. So the 29th of December 2018. Now that's done, I'm going to get myself ready to go visit Mum in the hospital. That's all from me today. I hope you did enjoy that and you do understand. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for today. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.